Hey kawan, welcome to EDCReady. Today we are going to do a disassembly of this knife. This is the Spyderco Para 3 lightweight. So a couple things I need to mention, the first of which is I've already done a disassembly video of this knife, but once I put it into the computer, found out that my camera, which is not this camera, it's a different camera, it kept drifting its focus. It kept going in focus and out of focus, so I decided to reshoot that video. So as a result, this is not going to be super factory fresh during the disassembly. I'll tell you guys what the difference are between that disassembly and this disassembly. A couple of things that I would like to mention: do check out my description box down below. I have my Patreon account there. You can check out how you can support the channel there. Also, if you want to get this knife, I got this from thomastools.com.my. And if you go into my description, you will get a promo code for a 10% discount on Thomas Tools. So if you want to get anything from there, use my promo code, you get a little bit of a discount from the knives that you buy. Alright. Oh, and one last thing. This is 2020. I'm still targeting to get to 1,000 subscribers, so you want to help out with that, just check out the well, what am I saying, just check out my channel and then subscribe if you think that this channel is gonna bring you some good value. And then if you subscribe, once we get to 1,000 subscribers at the end of the year, I'm gonna do a huge giveaway. And then with that giveaway, I have the ARC company that replied to me. They said that they want in on the action. They want to maybe give out some I forgot what the item is called, but ARC company wants to contribute to the giveaway. So without further ado, let's get into this disassembly. Alright, so one thing that I find a little bit annoying about this knife is just how many screws there are to take apart in this knife. Or when I say screws, I'm talking about how many Torx head sizes that I need. So you have a T10 here, this is a T6, then you have a T8 here, and then you also have a T8 here. And you're going to remove all these so that you can take the knife apart. So let's go down the line here. So a couple of things. This knife, during the first disassembly, it had some the lockup is fine. The lockup is nice and strong. It had some blade play side to side, very small amount of blade play. I don't think it'll affect the usage of the knife, but that's the case right there. It had a bit of blade play. And during the first time I disassembled it, the action was really gritty. Okay, so when I took it out, there's a lot of like grit and muck and whatever it was in the pivot on the washers. So it really improved the action. Now the action is drop shut, which I should have shown you before I taken out the pivot, but you guys just gotta trust me. It's drop shot now, especially once I've oiled it. Alright, so taking this apart, I also didn't need to put in any what do you call it, I didn't need to put in any Loctite, and then the screws all stayed in place, or they stayed in its position, which is good. Alright, so just taking this knife apart. One thing about this knife, despite it having that problem of needing multiple Torx bits, it's still pretty easy to take apart. So once you take all that apart, the knife just falls apart like that. And bada bing, bada boom. Looks super clean now because this is probably this is the second time I've taken it apart. Now, all you gotta do is, so you just want to show you guys this. This is the compression lock. So you compress this to disengage the knife. It is not stuck in any metal. It's just kind of like placed into that little clip. It just clicks into that little piece there, and then it's kind of like free floating. You have this piece down here to stop it from rocking down or up. Okay, now what I want to do is see if I can remove this piece. Let's move this away. Okay, tolerances are pretty good, which is why it's still kind of like stuck together. Hold on, trying to do this without injuring myself. And there you can see that is the one phosphor bronze washer, and then you just kind of pull this up, and then that's it. And on the other side there's no washer, it's just plastic, which leads up to one of its flaws, which is that it has every Para 3 lightweight video and every Para 3 lightweight I've seen in person, all of them do not center. Okay, of course blade centering to me is not the most important thing about a knife, but if you're kind of like a nitpicky kind of person, this is going to bother you a little bit. But to me, as long as it's not touching the sides, it's fine. Blade play on the other hand is a little bit more of a concern to me. Now this, in the beginning it had a bit more blade play, but as it wore in a little bit, especially after the first teardown and disassembly, it really like smoothened out. And then after some time, the the blade play also reduced by quite a bit. So now there's almost an imperceivable amount of blade play, which is great. Alright, so that's clean. Alright, so first thing I'm doing here is I am just removing all the gunk before I take some rubbing alcohol to clean it up. Oops, something fell out. What was that? That was the stop pin. Hold on. One moment. There we go. Yeah, stop pin flung out. Which is never a good sign. No, it wasn't the stop pin, sorry. It was the Chicago screw on the other side of this clip right here. Yeah, you don't want to lose that. Just take it out for now. Alright, so now I'm just going to take some rubbing alcohol. This is a methylate spirit. I'm going to use my Q-tips and just clean the washers and then the blade a little bit. So let me know in the description below if you're the kind of person that likes to disassemble your knife. I know a lot of people don't necessarily like to disassemble the knives. And to be honest, if you're... do you really need to? Maybe I would say I do it around once every 2 months. Every 2 months on each knife. Some people do it more often, some people do it less. I'd probably say maybe if you just do it a few times a year, it's fine. Unless you're the kind of person that's really like, you kind of hard use your knife, you really gunk it up a little bit. Maybe you did a lot of woodwork, or if you're the kind of person that really works on your knife, then you probably need to clean it a lot more often. But for me, in my use, I'm an office kind of person. I clean it every 2 months. Probably could do a little less, to be honest, but I just like fidgeting with my knives and I like the action to be as optimal as possible. Alright, now I'm just going to clean this part right here. Alright, bada bing bada boom. Then from there, I am just going to wipe it down with my microfiber cloth. Alright, clean off this bronze washer here. A little bit of the thin side. Actually, it's not too bad. I felt thinner for some bronze washers, especially on the 10 grand knives that I just took apart just now. For some reason, I'm slurring today. I don't know why. I have this kind of slur, this kind of lisp that's happening today. Probably because it's New Year's as I'm recording this, so don't quite know when it's gonna come up. Alright, so now I'm gonna use some of my lube here. This is some Breakthrough lube. So far my favorite lube that I've used on my knives. Okay, so now I'm gonna reassemble this knife. Let's start on this side. Which side should we start off with? Yeah, let's start on this side. I'm gonna put some lube on the plastic, some lube on the pivot. Stick this bad boy in like so. Then next up, what I want to do is just want to lube up where the bronze washers will sit, which is there and there, and then figure out which side of the bronze washer sits on the blade. Which side of the face? It looks like, yeah, it's this side. Alright, then just want to add a little bit more lube. Okay, now this, so I'm just going to add a little lube here. More than anything, this is just to help prevent a little bit of corrosion on the inside of the knife here. Lube up that detent ball. Lube up the detent ball track, so that it can kind of go in and out a little bit smoother. Get this guy in. Spread that lube a little bit. Yeah. And then just stick it back in here. And hopefully everything just slots back into place. which it's not. See now, what's happening here? What's not going in? There we go. That's it. And then just put everything back together. Get the D10 pivot, stick it in there. So with a few exceptions of dropping the screws out just now, pretty easy disassembly. Little bit quicker the first time I did it. Right now we're about 10 minutes in. First time I did this, it lasted about, I don't know, 9 minutes. And I've been using the wrong pivot screw. Hold on. There we go. No wonder, that's why it wouldn't spin. There we go. Drop this back into place right here. Now this is D-shaped, so that just prevents it from free spinning. So you just gotta figure out where the D is. Then you stick it in, like so. Grab a T8 and then screw in this side. Just like so. Whoops. Okay, let's put this back in. Okay, now I gotta flip it around. Now a little tip with putting these screws in. You wanna just put it in here, and then you just wanna pinch it with the clips. Now I got a little problem with the clip. The clip, for some reason, it doesn't really seat so properly under the screw, and as a result, they tend to almost slip out of the little groove there. Especially this side right here. This side right here. That tends to slip out of the groove. So I want to make sure that I seat it in extra securely this time. Like that. Right. That's in tight. Oops. Let's try that again. There we go. That's in tight. Now next thing I want to do is I just want to put a little bit of lube on the blade and then just spread it around my finger. Be very careful. This is just to help prevent rust. A little bit of rust protection on the blade. Now this blade is a CTS BD1N steel, which to my understanding is pretty good in terms of its corrosion resistance, but no, you just want to make sure it's all good. You can also use mineral oil for this if you want something a little bit more food safe. It's all good. Alright, and now last but not least, we're going to check out the action, see if it's any good. Alright, that's smooth. We have a bit of blade play. Let's tighten up screws. Screws are now tight. A little bit too tight. Centering is still a little bit off. But I kind of given up trying to fix that because I don't think it fixes. Probably because it only has a washer on one side and it compresses down on the non-metal side. So the plastic side here will compress a little bit, which is why it's kind of favoring that side with the plastic, and on the metal side it just, well, metal doesn't compress as well as plastic. Alright, still a little bit of blade play. Let's tighten the metal side. Still a tiny bit of blade play, but it's not really dropping anymore. Okay. Blade play has reduced. It's not dropping as much as I'd like it to. Almost there. Still a little bit of blade play. It's a very small amount of blade play, not one that would make me feel like it's dangerous or cut me or whatever. Drop shut. Tiny amount of blade play that I can't seem to get rid of. Let's just tighten this screw just a little tiny bit. Okay, almost no blade play anymore. It's not dropping at all. Small amount of blade play. And free dropping. Okay, the blade play has increased just a little bit, but still is a very small amount of blade play. See if I can. No blade play. Is at full torque now, full tightness, no blade play, but it's not that, it doesn't have that false shut that you expect from a compression lock. Now this blade play again. So from what I see is that you are going to need to keep it as tight as possible on the metal side, the side with the bronze washer, which is this side, sorry, which is this side, and then you want to loosen up the side that is plastic. That gives you the best action with the least amount of blade play. Just like that. Drop shut. It's never going to get centered. And then it just has the tiniest hint of blade play. And it still drops. Okay guys, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. A little bit of a long process in this one, because you know the knife is not perfect, and it just frustrates me a little bit. You know, if this knife had bronze and liners on both sides, or just like those half liners at the sides here, or those quarter liners on the side here, and have that bronze on the other side as well, this would be the perfect knife. But it's not, and I guess the search continues for the most perfect knife. Okay guys, yeah, as always, check out my description for everything I talked about earlier today, and as always, stay ready.